Welcome. Boy, I tell you, let people mess with my take over Twitter and stuff happens on my phone. I can't even do things like I want to on my phone with Twitter, trying to intro people to another edition of Folks Talking Sports on the Folks Talk Sports Twitter account. I'm Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review, and joining me is Willy Gibson from Ohio. Where are you now, sir?
I'm Columbus,
Ohio. Not quite a kid from Akron.
I am a kid from Akron.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Willy Gibson, a kid from Akron. We're going to talk about a few things. First off, to everyone joining us on Folks Talk Sports on Twitter, as well as on the Houston Roundball Review on YouTube. Happy New Year to everyone. You too, Brother Gibson. Happy New Year to you as well.
You as well.
Feliz Año Nuevo to my Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters. Let's get into it. Let's work backwards. Let's do a recap of 2022. Just off the top of your dome, man, any top sports moments in 2022 for you, Willy Gibson?
Yeah. Ohio State wins the Rose Bowl. That's the first day of 2022. Yep.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Does that rank as number one for you?
For now, that's the first one that popped in my mind. I'm just trying to quickly run through. Yeah, that's for now. That is it. I don't know. That's a good question. I hadn't really taken the time to formulate a list.
Yeah, toss you a curveball there.
Yeah.
But that's all right, because I was asked that question from my mentor Ralph Cooper Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Ralph asked me if I was free and available to join him at 6:15, and he called me like at 3 and said, "Hey, are you available?" I said, "Yes, but okay, think of your top 5 sports moments." I said, "Okay, Ralph." So I said, "Well, I'll be at the basketball game." And he said, "Okay, well, let's think of it and I'll call you." I said, "Okay." So these are Houston. These are my moments.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, number 5. What was number 5? Number 5 was number 5. And kudos, shout out to AD Moore, Dolphins AD Moore, because he's part of this. Number 5 was the Houston Roundball Review being recognized as a media group in 2022 and being approved to attend and cover the big game, the NFL's big game. So number 5. Number 4 was, I think, UH men's basketball advanced to the Elite 8 with 7 healthy players.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 was the Big Ten new media rights deal, leaving ESPN. Number 2 was the Astros winning the World Series, Dusty Baker's first World Series ring. And number 1 was the Brittany Griner whole scenario, the wrongful detainment, and then release for her. So it took me a while to make a list, but I had to do that. So that was my top 5. Let's put that out there, and I want to get your thoughts on it. And for everyone wondering, Andy Yanez is celebrating New Year's with his family. James Mueller is attending a wedding, and I want to say it's in Arizona, in and around Arizona. So there's a chance James might be able to go back, because he's on winter break in college at UH, to attend the college football championship game featuring Georgia and TCU. I'm not sure, but I want to say his dad, or it seemed like his dad or mom or both, are TCU alums.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. Because I know his grandparents live in Fort Worth, so there might be a TCU tie. I haven't asked James about that, but I'm kind of putting the breadcrumbs together a little bit there. So who knows if James will be available to attend. He's going to ask his dad about that, if he can attend the CFP between TCU and Georgia. So that's where those two young men are. James is at a wedding. Not James' wedding. James is not getting married, as far as I know. because I'd be kind of about done if he were getting married and I didn't get an invite. And Andy is celebrating the new year with his family. So that's why it's just Brother Gibson and myself this evening, giving you a Folks Talking Sports edition. And of course, got to help pay the bills, as Brother Gibson knows.
Indeed.
Folks Talking Sports is sponsored by 5 Star Properties, a Dallas-based company owned by a UH alum. If you are facing foreclosure or need to sell your house as is for cash, call 972-532-SELL, 972-532-SELL, or visit their website at 5starprops.com, FIVESTARPROPS.com. Brother Gibson, I'm going to put you on the spot one more time.
Okay.
Have you already applied, or have you applied for credential for the Final Four?
I have not.
Okay, you're going to do that, right?
I am.
Okay. I am. Looking forward to you and getting approved, because if you get approved, we're gonna do a show here in town, H-Town.
Oh, for sure. So I was trying to do that when I came down there for the Browns game. I was trying to roll up on you and surprise you, but it didn't work quite. And then I saw AD, and AD blew my spot up. So yeah.
So just planning on that. So I've already applied for it. Hopefully, of course, I'm assuming I get approved. I don't take that for granted. Got to get approved as well. So assuming I do get approved for it, you get approved, Andy gets approved, James gets approved. Yeah, another feather in the cap for the Houston Roundball review, because I also know that AD Moore has been approved for the second consecutive year to attend and cover the NFL's big game next month in February. So 2 years in a row, the Houston Roundball review will be attending and covering the NFL big game. And you know why I'm not saying
without question,
because I don't want to get fined and have to pay for it.
Without question.
All right, Mr. Gibson, full disclosure, my Saturday was filled with hoops yesterday.
Okay.
With UH men's basketball first, and then the Rockets. Ooh, the Rockets, boy, that was something else. Rockets Saturday evening. So I did not see the CFP games. But based on my Twitter feed, it was like I was there. I mean, everybody I was following was talking about the game, tweeting about the game. So give me your take on it. What you see, what you think, your thoughts. You want to do the TCU game first? You want to do the Buckeyes game first? Your call. You got it.
Yeah, I'll go in chronological order. TCU, I think TCU felt disrespected, and understandably so. You know, they were the little brother. They, first-year coach, had some hiccups throughout the season. Came in with one loss, but there were some games where they didn't look their best, and people, take them for granted. To be honest, they come from the Big 12. Big 12 is not the most defensive-oriented conference when it comes to football. And so people thought that, okay, Michigan's going to come in from the big, bad, mighty Big 10 and run the ball all over them. And it didn't work like that. And I think they came out defensively in particular and proved a point. I mean, 2 pick sixes. They stopped Michigan 3 times in the red zone, which Michigan's Achilles heel all year has been red zone scoring. They'll, dink and dunk between the 20s, but once they get inside the 20s and the field is compressed, they have issues. That's why their field goal kicker was a Groza Award finalist. And he kicked a 59-yard field goal yesterday in that game. So they pretty much went to script, and TCU just was not to be denied. I mean, they came out firing. Michigan had some questionable play calls early. They attempted inside the 5, probably due to their issues in the red zone. They attempted a double pitch pass, and it got blown up. The Philly special. If you remember a couple years back in the big game between the Eagles and the Patriots, the Eagles ran a play that's called the Philly special. Mm-hmm. Well, Michigan attempted their version of that yesterday and lost 5 yards on 3rd down. or the fourth down actually, on fourth down that turned the ball over. So people had questionable calls on maybe some targeting and a touchdown that perhaps could have gone Michigan's way. But all in all, TCU was the better team yesterday, and they won the game. Going to the second game, Ohio State, Georgia. Ohio State answered a lot of questions, and they also created many more, if that makes sense. They showed up to play. They answered all the critics who decided they did not belong there. They backed in. They did this. They did that. I don't know how you back in when you're 11-1, but I digress. But the 10-2 team, Nick Saban, Alabama, thought that they deserved to be there over the 11-1 team. I don't know. Math tells me that 2 is more than 1.
Yes. And
when it comes to losses, low number typically wins. So 11-1 Ohio State got in over 10-2 Alabama, but I digress.
That's SEC. That's the SEC new math, Will.
Yeah. So Ohio State they came to play. Even with the injuries that they had prior to the game and that occurred during the game. Cade Stover, starting tight end, was lost early. Mayan Williams was injured. He was rendered ineffective due to his injury. Already without Travion Henderson, top running back. Already without Jackson Smith and Jigba, top wide receiver. Lost Marvin Harrison Jr. in the second half, which the first 20 minutes of the game, he was the star. 5 catches, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. So he was on his way. And for the record, there's questions about the call. Was it targeting? I personally did not think it was a targeting call. I mean, it was a shot. He took a shot. I think the young man from Georgia led with his shoulder. Unfortunately, Marvin Harrison Jr. Sustained a concussion on that play and was not able to return. And to that point, let me say this. Kudos to Ryan Day. Kudos to Dr. Kris Gardner of the Ohio State medical team for not allowing that young man back in the game. Because number one, it was clear that was a turning point in the game. Ohio State's offense never got back on track once he left. And for all those win at all cost people, it would have been very easy for them to give that young man his helmet back and let him return to the game. And they chose not to. Not every coach, not every program would do that.
No doubt.
So give credit where it's due, Dr. Kris Gardner, Ryan Day, because there were times when Marvin Harrison Jr. came out of the tent, he was looking for his helmet. He sat next to C.J. Stroud and was waiting for someone to find his helmet, and they refused to give him his helmet back. So kudos to them. The game, defense. I know we talked about this after the last game of the regular season. You can't give up 87 points the last 2 games of the season.
Yeah.
You can't give up 45 and then come back and give up 42 in the bowl game. You can't allow a quarterback to go 10 of 12 for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That's not the half. That's not the game. Stetson Bennett was 10 of 12, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
And that's knowing when you know he has to pass the ball.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's down 14 at this point.
Right.
It was 38-24 Ohio State going into the fourth quarter. And that was what he was allowed to do. That's a problem. I'm not called for man's jobs. I'm not advocating for anyone to lose their job. However, when you were brought here to fix the defense, and the defense gives up 87 points in 2 games, the last 2 games of the season. And I'm not even going to get into Noah Ruggles, the field goal kicker, the place kicker. He missed the kick. He missed a 50-yard field goal with 7 seconds left. It happens. He's made that kick before. I've seen him make that kick before.
Let me ask you, because I saw it. I saw that he missed without the Rockets.
Yeah.
Was it close? Was it
no?
Wide?
He
Short?
shanked it. He shanked it. He shanked it without question. And then, of course, you have the proverbial idiots that want to DM him on Twitter, calling this, that, and the other, and how he blew it, and how they themselves couldn't kick a 10-yard field goal.
Right.
Nonetheless, a 50-yard field goal to go to the national championship game. But I digress. That's a huge sore point for me. And I get on my colleagues all the time. It's amazing to me how you have men in their mid-40s questioning the toughness of 19-year-old kids.
Yes.
That's a problem for me. That's a huge problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's amazing that, you got keyboard warriors on Twitter that want to go after 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids for something they themselves couldn't do.
Right. And, and my 2 cents on that, a 50-yard kick pressure, that's hard to do. But do y'all think, do those who are hating on him and threatening him with physical violence, do you think he missed on purpose? I mean, do you think he went in, you know what? To hell with these fans. I want all the people to come hate me, threaten my family and my loved ones.
Right.
I'm going to miss this kick on purpose.
Right.
No, that's not the case.
No.
Okay. We're still dealing with human beings. We all make mistakes. I know I made some. I think you made some.
Oh, without question.
Pressure situations, he missed the kick. Okay, that happens. Relax. It's a big ass moment, clearly. But life goes on.
Yep.
I'm sure you felt awful missing the kick. Feel like he let his teammates down. Oh, he probably at some point feels worse about it than many of those idiots out there.
Yes.
But people, relax. He didn't miss it on purpose. It just happened. He missed a kick. That happened. He wasn't the first kicker to miss a kick like that. He won't be the last to miss a kick like that.
No.
But unfortunately, he also won't be the first athlete to be threatened for in their eyes, letting the fans down. How could you do that to us? You hurt us. It's your fault we're not going to the big game. It's all on you. How dare you do that to us?
I got in trouble a couple years back. I got in trouble here because just simply that. You talk about fans, and fan is short for fanatic, and I talk about, and what I got in trouble for was these fans, quote unquote. I say fans.
Yeah.
What got me in trouble is I said they've never walked on the Oval. The Oval is a campus spot that pretty much you can get to anywhere on campus crossing the Oval. Mm-hmm. They've never studied in William Oxley Thompson Library. They've never taken a class in University Hall. They've never taken a class in Baker Systems. They've never slept in Park Hall. Mm-hmm. And I got in trouble for that. Just because I didn't go to school there doesn't mean I can't be a fan. True, possibly. But just because you're a fan doesn't mean you can personally attack 19-year-old kids.
Yes.
So the same way you felt I was attacking you by saying you weren't a fan because you never attended a class at Ohio State, multiply that by 1 billion. And think about that the next time you want to criticize a 19-year-old kid. Because I had someone tell me, there was a young man that was hurt, injured the entire season, was injured week 3, tried to play off and on throughout the season. And someone told me, well, some people just want it more than others. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
And then come to find out, we find out the young man tore 2 ligaments and broke a bone in his foot that he was attempting to play through all season long.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Okay, I'm done. Because that bothers me, bro. That bothers me.
It bothers me. And let me say, Tony M, thank you for chiming in on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel to this edition of Folks Talking Sports, sponsored by 5 Star Properties. And I'm going to be honest, I'm 50 years old. So when I was younger, in my teens, I wasn't that fanatical. I was bad, but I was in my teens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As I've gotten older and realized these are people too. They're not doing this stuff on purpose, and we can never prove it unless you can prove to me that they're doing these things on purpose. They're missing kicks on purpose. They're missing blocks on purpose. They're doing, unless you prove it to me, you can prove to me that the referees are making bad calls on purpose. Just got it in for your team. All those things. Let it go. Just let it go. Use your energy on something else, because this is not. Don't down that hill, because that ain't it, and it's not going to be on this show. We're not going to look at it from that viewpoint. I'm doing a segue. Basketball yesterday, college basketball. UConn men lost at Xavier by 10. Number 2, UConn lost their first loss of the season. One of the guys I follow on Twitter, he's a colleague, media. UConn, I mean, he dealt with UConn fans. And one of the fans blamed the officials for UConn losing the game to Xavier. And Russell Baxter said, this is life on the road in the Big East. Home cooking is real. Home cooking is home cooking. I will not tolerate fans using the loser mentality of it's the ref's fault. Okay. Xavier is a good team too.
Right.
Okay. Xavier won that game. So take your, oh no, it's a conspiracy against UConn mentality elsewhere, because it's not going to be on my timeline. Have a good day. So, I mean, please miss me with this. Folks, sometimes your team loses. That happens. Sometimes your team will lose to a better team. That happens. Yeah. It's possible. It's very probable it's going to happen. It happened yesterday in Cincinnati. Xavier beat a UConn. And I don't know if you saw it, but it was a 3-point game, about two and change left. It was a call. I thought it was a good call against UConn. Danny Hurley went off. Danny Hurley's very emotional. Okay. Danny Hurley got teed up. 2 minutes left in the ball game. On the road, got a check for a call that was the right call. But UConn fans, see, I told you the refs had it in for us. People. Sometimes right is right, wrong is wrong. Take off the blinders and accept the fact that your coach is not perfect, and your coach can make mistakes and be wrong, and heat of the moment, he was wrong. But anyway, all right. Just your initial thoughts. Does TCU stand a chance against Georgia?
I mean, yeah, they're in the building. So, yeah, they have a chance.
Yeah.
Without question.
And when is the game? I don't even know when the game is, Will.
Next Monday.
Next Monday.
January 9th.
Have you seen we need our young guys, our sports bettors, because I don't know what the line is. But,
I saw it late last night. Georgia -13.
Okay. I might kind of take that. I think Georgia's going to win, but I think it'll be maybe a 10 or between 10 and 7. Will, you cover the Browns.
Yeah.
I used to be a fan of the Daniel Snyder franchise that he ruined. And talking about a man who's going to fall up, sell a franchise for 10 times what he bought it. Man, must be nice.
Man.
To ruin a franchise and get $7 billion possibly.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened today, Will, from your perspective in the Browns-Commanders game.
Deshaun is figuring it out play by play. I mean, this was game 5 for him. It's game 16 for everybody else. So he's getting into the flow. Unfortunately, is it too little too late with it being one more game remaining? Probably. But it's a springboard into next season. It's a positive ending that he will take into the offseason to prepare for 2023. But it's simply that. Deshaun is figuring it out. I mean, his numbers were pedestrian, 9 of 18, I think 167 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. He threw 3 touchdowns.
And he did not throw 3 picks.
No. Carson Wentz.
But I digress on that too.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, who Daniel Snyder basically forced his personnel folks to trade for.
Yeah.
Just another example of Daniel Snyder ruining a once proud franchise. And I will return to being a fan of that once proud franchise once he sells the team within this year, hopefully. But until then, I will just bash him without end because he ruined a once proud franchise. And aren't the Packers winning?
It was 27-3 last I saw it.
Packers, right?
Packers.
Okay, because that's what I saw on ESPN, but I sure thought I saw someone on Twitter say that Minnesota was winning. And I was like, hold up. I just saw on ESPN that the Packers are winning. Because if the Packers win, the Commanders, I think, are done for the playoff chances. Yeah.
Which I'm glad you brought that up because I was waiting on that. I was going to bring that up. Apparently, Ron Rivera did not know that.
Seriously?
Post-game. Seriously. He was asked a question about, he said he would consider quarterback changes next week. And he said, and the question was asked, well, if the Packers win, you're eliminated. He kind of was taken aback. Like, you mean we could be eliminated? I'm like, yeah. If he was serious the first time, like he's playing, like he's being facetious. He's like, but no, he was legitimately like, oh, I didn't know. That
says a lot too. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it says a tremendous amount. Packers won 41-17.
So once again, the Commanders missed the playoffs. All right. Well, there you go, Daniel Snyder. You did it again. So, okay. Oh, boy. All right. I got to talk about this. Will, last night, and shout out to Tony, M, and the fans who joined me last night on my Let's Talk Houston Rockets show. I went for almost 2 hours.
Wow.
I went right up to New Year's 2023 started. So, AD's chiming in. So, we just touched on that. AD, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for the lead in. And kudos to your credential approval, sir, for the big game. Looking forward to your coverage of the big game in February. Marvin Harrison Jr., the loss changed the game. I've seen that. You mentioned it as well, Will.
Yeah. I'm switching devices, so you see me come up.
Okay. Will, how often have you seen in your time covering basketball a team shoot less than 40%, 38.9%? The opponent, let me go ahead. There we go. All right. The opponent shoots 37.7%.
Okay.
So 38.9, 37.7.
Okay.
There's a difference of 1 made 3 between the two teams.
Okay.
One team makes 15, other team makes 14.
Okay.
It's a 20-point game, Will.
Ow, sweat.
It's a 20-point game. The Rockets committed 25 turnovers. The Knicks scored 37 points off those turnovers. A season high for a Rocket opponent. The Rockets scored, I think, 9 points off the Knicks turnovers. 20-point game. It was and this is after the Rockets led by 8 after the first quarter. So, leading by 8, lose by 20. Points off turnover differential, 28. There you go. I mean, it was just mind-blowing to see. And a lot of them were like, basically, you want it? Here, Knicks, you want the ball? Yeah, here you go. I mean, it was that bad. 8 turnovers in the second quarter. 8 turnovers in the third quarter. It was 5, 8, 8, and 4.
Wow.
So it was just 12 points off turnovers in the second, 11 in the third, and I think I mean, like 8 in the fourth or whatever. So, folks, again, I called over Stephen Silas's job. Stephen Silas was just bewildered and frustrated at the 25 turnovers, as any coach would be, because it's 25 turnovers. An NBA franchise turned the ball over 25 times. 5 for Jalen Green, 5 for Kevin Porter Jr. That's your starting backcourt. 4 for Eric Gordon, your vet, who you're relying on for leadership.
Wow.
The starting 5 had 16 of the team's 25 turnovers. I think the Knicks starters outscored the Rocket starters by 60. I mean, it was something ridiculous. I don't know what it was, but it was just, but whatever. Rockets are now 10-26, and now the clock once again is being turned up. Heat has been turned on. Stephen Silas had one fan last night just going off, all caps. Steven must go. Fire him now. He's an awful coach. Blah blah blah.
What is your expectation?
Oh, his clearly was better, different than mine because, and see that great question. I think that's where some Rocket fans are very upset, is because they expected more wins, teetering on play-in this season. That was unrealistic, in my opinion. The youth, inexperience, talent level is not good enough yet, and they're in the West. And the West is better. So I was like, this is what I expected. No, I expected them to be better on defense. Lionel Hollins, defensive coach. He's on staff. A physical player in his day, physical coach. I expected more physicality from these Rockets. Have not seen that this season so far. So that surprised me. They also miss your guy, Jae'Sean Tate. He's been out for most of the season. So they miss his leadership. They miss his skill set, his stabilizing influence. All those things add up to it. And he's a good defender as well. But it's not, apparently it is enough for them to be this up and down and be 10-26. They got Luka tomorrow, Will.
Ooh.
So
60. No.
Might be 50. I mean, it'd be fourth in like 6 games for him to get, if he gets 50.
Yeah.
He's on a roll. I haven't heard from anybody, because you remember when he was first in the league. Oh, he can't play. He's one of those international players. They can't play. He's not going to do this, that. No, okay.
I would be looking Phoenix right.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just saying.
And so, but Luka, even Christian Wood, it took him a minute. It took some tough love from Jason Kidd. Yo, Christian, if you don't play defense, you're not gonna play. You're not gonna get consistent minutes. Hey, okay, took him a minute. And Christian was like, "Oh, you're serious? Yeah, I'm serious. No defense, you're not gonna play. Oh, okay, now I'll do better, coach. He's playing better. He's bought into it as well as he can. So I think Luka's on a roll. He might get 50 tomorrow against the Rockets. Who knows? I'm kind of curious to see how many Rocket fans show up. See if they're frustrated or fed up. With Saturday's performance was just it was not a good look. It was bewildering. And then top it off after the game in the locker room, Eric Gordon was asked a question in the locker room. Let me see if I can pull it up. Basically, have you seen improvement this season? And Eric Gordon's answer, very succinctly, matter of fact, there's been no improvement.
Ooh.
there's been, or there's no improvement. Let me pull it up. I think it was 3-word answer. Exactly. So let me see. The answer was there's no improvement. So the question is exactly, quote, are you seeing the improvement you thought you'd see when the season started? And Eric's answer, there's no improvement. End quote.
You know what that is to me? If I had to read between the lines, I'm going to put the pressure on them for them to get me out of here.
Yes, sir. No question. No question. Because when he said it, I was in the locker room. It was like 8 of us there. And the expression on his face was, really, y'all get me out of here. Get me out of here. I'm done. But also, this is on him and his people too. Because I think he bought into some of the fans' expectations. Well, I said to you and Andy, and I had low expectations for this year's team.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what Eric expected, because they could have moved him in the summer. He could have gone to a contender for a first-round pick with conditions in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But Eric said no, because he said many times he wanted to finish his career with the Rockets. He wanted to see this rebuild through, because as if he believed the turnaround would be quicker than it is going to take.
Based on what? What did he see?
Exactly. That's the question. And now I think he's realizing, gee, I made a mistake. Yeah, Eric, you did.
Yeah.
So hopefully between now and February deadline, he'll be dealt. I think when Jayshawn Tate is cleared to get back in games, I think it's going to be soon, within a week or, hopefully, barring a setback, because he was doing 5-on-5 not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Once he's cleared and plays, Eric's gone. Because you can put KJ Martin in the starting lineup and then bring Jayshawn Tate off the bench. Jayshawn be the bench stabilizer. Eric, our rotation is set now. Thank you for your time with the organization. You've been professional throughout your tenure here. Good luck with your new team.
Are they looking at the buyout piece, or are they? Oh, let me ask this. No, okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
This is the first question I had. Are they still holding out for a first-round pick at this point?
I think they were up until December 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because and honestly, let me say this. He shot the ball well last night. He didn't play it well. Defense still is nowhere near what it used to be for Eric Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
But he was 5 for 10 from the floor. Okay. But he did have those 4 turnovers. But he had one couple possessions. He launched a shot off the backboard, clang off the backboard. It was a brick. Loose ball bounced around. So, not hitting the rim. Shot clock's winding down. No reset. Gets the ball back from the baseline. Shot clock running down. 3, 2, 1. Toss a floater. Over the rim. Air ball. Same possession.
Wow.
So, brick off the glass and then an air ball floater.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, Eric, you don't want to be here. And this is just from my perspective. I think his young teammates, yeah, Eric, you got to go. We're tired of you two. Thank you for your time, bro.
Yeah.
Good luck to you in your next spot. And he's got a player option on next year's contract. I think that's right, player option. And it's low value. It might even be a team option, I think. So next year's contract, he can be cut because it's like $3 million. It's something low, So again, his contract, his people agreed to that deal. Well, that's on you, Eric. You put yourself in this spot. That's on you.
Yeah.
So now, Rafael Stone, get 2 second-round picks for him. Get a conditional first-round pick in 2028, plus the second-round picks, and be done with it. Move on.
Yeah.
Because his leadership in the locker room that everybody said he provided last year is gone. That's done. He's done. And he's been dropping hints on Twitter with these emojis in the last month or so of his frustration.
Oh, yeah.
So just get him out of here. Just go. Just go. So let me see. Comment here. Yeah, well, I've been saying this comment right here for a while that Eric should come off the bench. I've said that for 2 years now. But now I'm past the point of that. Trade him. Get him gone. I think Eric should take his brother with him. because I don't know if his brother is still on the G League team with the Rockets. If so, take him with him to go make it a package deal. This flyer is done right here with Bol Bol and Larry Markkinen both gone. Bol both playing very well in Orlando. Larry Markkinen is damn near an all-star play so far with Utah. And Detroit fans want to forget or choose to forget Bol Bol was once a Piston.
Yeah.
And the Piston medical staff flagged it and rescinded the deal. Well, I haven't forgotten that. So, but good for him to play well. The talent was there. He dealt with injuries at Oregon. He didn't get a chance to excel his 1 year at Oregon. So he's had some injury issues, but he's healthy now, playing well. And he's 7'2". He's like, as Paulo Banchero hinted at, or hell, Paulo said, everybody's all about Victor Wembanyama as a unicorn. Hell, Bol Bol's doing some same stuff. You know, 7'2", long arms, shooting threes, handles, blocking shots. We got that right now. So time will tell on that. Tony M trade him to a team. That's Eric. Make it happen, Rafael. Get it done. Trade him. Move on. The Rockets, they're not going to win more than 25 games this year anyway, with Eric or without Eric. So play the youngsters and keep it moving. Just keep it moving. So I digress. But thank you for the comments from everybody chiming in. It's good. Rockets is still Folks Talking Sports, folks, not just a Let's Talk Houston Rockets show. So one more time, got to pay those bills. Well, you know how it is. Got to pay the bills. I'm put up the banner on the screen and do it like this. 5 Star Properties is sponsoring this show of Folks Talking Sports throughout this season of college basketball. A Dallas-based company owned by UH alum, Go Cougs. If you're facing foreclosure or need to sell your house as is for cash, call 972-532-SELL or 972-532-7355 or visit the website 5starprops.com, FIVESTARPROPS.com. Shout out once again to 5 Star Properties, the sponsor of Folks Talking Sports here on Twitter at Folks Talk Sports, as well as on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. So there you go. See that right there. Folks Talk Sports on Twitter. I'm Kris Gardner of Houston Roundball Review. And joining me is Willy Gibson from Ohio, an alum of the Ohio State Buckeyes, and we are both credentialed media members.
Yep.
And Will, to his credit, is not one of those folks who runs and hides when his team loses.
Nope.
Because he's a credentialed media, he's a journalist. That's what we do. We talk about teams when they win and when they lose. It's called being objective. That's what we do. One of the things we do here on Folks Talking Sports. So once again, Willy Gibson, thank you very much for taking time out. Absolutely. Let's see, where do you want to go here? Will, how are the Cavs doing?
They won last night. They finished 2022 on a winning note. They beat the Chicago Bulls 103-102. It was closer than the score indicates, and you wonder, it's a 1-point win. How was it closer? Because really, the Cavs should have lost that game. They lost in Indiana on Thursday. They lost the game prior to that, and they were up going into the fourth quarter yesterday in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And Chicago came back, and DeMar DeRozan missed a floater at the buzzer that really should have gone in, and they really should have lost that game. But they won. And, kudos. That's what improving teams do. They find ways to win. Mm-hmm. Now it's just getting through the injury bug. Dean Wade is out, should be close to coming back. Darius Garland was injured Thursday in Indiana. Was playing through a thumb. No official diagnosis on what the injury is. He's playing with a heavy wrap on his thumb. But the Cavs are in need of wing help, big time. They're in need of wing help. The latest name is OG Anunoby of Toronto. Toronto's not really yet ready to throw in the towel on their season. I do know that Gary Trent Jr. is available and from Toronto. He has a player option for next year, but he's in last year of his deal that is contractually obligated. So he's been named in some rumors, if you will. But the Cavs are really in need of a dependable small forward. Isaac Okoro is young. They don't want to give up on him yet, but he's not ready. This team is really ahead of schedule because this team, after LeBron left the second time, they methodically took their time and built the team through the draft. And they thought this would be another step in that process. They made Jared Allen was thrown in their laps due to the James Harden trade.
Right.
I mean, for those that don't know the story, and I know, Chris, you know this, Brooklyn was short a few $1 million of clearing cap space to acquire James Harden. And they called Cleveland and said, hey, Jared Allen's making 2.3. Would you be interested? And Kobe Altman said, absolutely. And he sent a first-round pick from Milwaukee to Brooklyn. I think that pick then was conveyed to Houston in that deal. And Jared Allen's an all-star center.
Yep.
So, and then say with Donovan Mitchell, I know we told it you were in Dallas at the Pac-12. Was it Pac-12, Big 12?
Basically, that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. And how he got involved with the Donovan Mitchell trade, because everyone in the league knew Donovan Mitchell was going home. He's going to the Knicks. He's going to
right.
Well, Kobe Altman was in New York at the U.S. Open, seeing Serena play her final matches, and got word that the Knicks were balking at some protections on the picks that they were willing to trade Utah. And Kobe Altman has a relationship with Justin Zanuck, the GM in Utah. They've made deals before. Jordan Clarkson, Cleveland to Utah, and a couple other fringe deals that they've made. So they have a relationship. He called, and that was on Monday, and Wednesday, Donovan Mitchell was a Cleveland Cavalier. So this team is ahead of schedule. So I bring it back to the point of Isaac Okoro. He's not what they need right now. And there's kind of a quandary because you don't want to give up on the young kid. He's in his third year, 5th overall pick. So you don't want to say we made a mistake.
Right.
But at the same time, this team is ready now. They've been either 3 or 4 all season long. They were last year at the All-Star break. They were the 4th seed in the East, and injuries took over, and they fell into the play-in. So they beat Brooklyn in the play-in last year, and they lost to Atlanta. So they're ready. They just need that final piece. Now it's just what do they give up? Isaac Okoro, Kevin Love has an expiring $28.9 million contract. Internal discussions are: do you trade Kevin Love? Final year of his deal. Yes, he's the final piece of your NBA championship team. Clearly, he's not the player he was then. Last year of his deal. Kevin, we talked about Eric Gordon earlier. Last year, that was Kevin Love.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah, Kevin Love was exactly that guy last year. It was a time in Toronto last year where he lost it mid-game.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. And so as you were telling that story, I'm like, man, that sounds like K Love. That's really what he was doing last year. So he's corrected. He's I don't want to say falling in line. He's accepted his role. And now do you want to upset that and possibly put him in a trade? Ricky Rubio's back. He should be playing tomorrow.
Okay. And
at home against the Bulls. He tore his ACL last December, and he's been ramping it up. Pre-game, shoot-arounds. He's playing 5-on-5. They assigned him to the Cleveland Charge. The G League team's not playing with the Charge, but just for practice while they were on the road and getting him some reps. But he should be there either tomorrow or even Wednesday at home against Phoenix. So they just need consistency and that small forward. Karis LeVert, they thought would be it. He's sporadic at best. He's an expiring contract at 18.9. Maybe he's someone that they consider to move as February 9 gets closer.
K-Love, Karis LeVert for Russ.
No.
No.
No. Nah. That point guard room is tight. You got
Put Russ at the 3. Russ said, I'll solve your wing problem.
Nah, they need a shooter at the 3.
Well, that ain't Russ.
Let me say, because he's a shooter, but yeah. But no, but that's funny. But yeah, they just did that 3, and we'll see.
You want Eric Gordon?
Hey, if the price is right, Kobe will do it.
Because it's funny you bring up Kevin Love. It's like he and Eric have reversed.
Yeah.
Because last year Eric was a good veteran, accepted his role, and now he's like, yeah, I want out of here. I want to win. I want a chance in the playoffs. Yeah. This is not working. And Kevin Love has played very well once he accepted his role and, for lack of a better word, accept the reality, of the situation.
Well, let me say this about Kevin Love. In his defense, they did tell him when he re-upped, because he was due to be a free agent. He signed a 4-year deal, $120, and it was maybe 2 years prior to the All-Star game, and they needed that marquee name going into All-Star weekend, and he was told, "We're not tearing it down. We're going to build around you. We're going to stay competitive." And as soon as he signed, what did they do? Tore it down to the studs.
Yeah. So
in his defense, he's kind of like, man, hold up. No, I didn't sign up for this. Yeah, you paid me, but I'm an NBA champion. I know what it takes to get there. I've been there. I want to continue to build towards that. And they kind of just flipped it on him. So I'm not condoning his actions on the court. I'm not condoning some of the things that he's done and said, but I understand. So
fair point. Good point.
Yeah.
Very, very good point. So yeah, I'm not going to spend time talking about UH football winning in Shreveport in the Independence Bowl. Whatever. They beat Louisiana, who was also 500. Hooray! I'm going to be petty. Just be forewarned. I'm going to be petty.
Okay.
The Houston Cougars women's basketball team won Friday night in their conference opener over SMU, 60-44 over SMU. The game featured 49 combined turnovers, 25 for Houston, 24 for SMU. SMU was without their best player, their best point guard. So yes, so it was expected for them to have a lot of turnovers. The Cougs still had 25. Okay, but they won because they made more shots than SMU. SMU was like 10 for 24 on layups.
Oh.
That's hard to do, Will. I mean, 10 for 24 on layups. But my pettiness is this. That's now win number 4 for Coach Huey this season. They're 1-0 in conference play. So I wonder, will UH sign into a contract extension tomorrow?
Hey, man, cut it out.
So, yep. So I'm being petty like that. I'm being petty.
Yeah.
Because, hell, they signed him to an extension last September after he did not go to the NCAA tournament again. So, yes, they're 1-0 in the American. So I'm expecting sometime tomorrow. Hell, I even said it. I expected yesterday during the men's game, make an announcement about we've signed Coach Huey to an extension. So, pettiness, yes, I know. I'm here for it here on Folks Talkin' Sports, sponsored by 5 Star Properties. And Coach Huey's a good dude, good man. This is not personal, okay? 9 years with no trip to the big dance is 9 years with no trips to the big dance. Period. That's how I'm going to put it. Period. So, on that note, let me see what else we got. Cougs. Oh, well, we're 6 months away from UH finally joining the Big 12 officially, but UH football, since their season's not done, the bowl game is over. They need to start promoting, marketing. Big 12 is 6 months away. We need your help, fans. We need your support. Buy tickets. Start building up the season ticket base for the Big 12. All those things they need to start doing tomorrow. Whenever start working again. If it's Tuesday, whatever, off tomorrow for the holiday, whatever. Start doing that. Please take advantage of. Please do better promoting the program. I mean, if you want to spin it around, hey, we won 2 straight bowl games under Dana, fine, whatever. But do a better job promoting your product, especially your moneymaker, of which football is.
What is it? Rise Up? What's that campaign? The Rise Up campaign? The $75 million or whatever?
Yeah, it's Rise Up, Big 12 Rise, what have you. So yeah, let's do better. You know, I'm just saying, you know, it might be kind of wise if you want to advertise here on Folks Talking Sports. Have a segment here on this show. Just saying, have a segment here, a little 30-second ad to be played on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Just saying. Because I know this for a fact, Will. Found this out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Got this good piece of news. Going to put it out there, share with everyone who may not have seen it on Let's Rage Cougs yesterday. But Coach Kelvin Sampson's wife, Mrs. Karen Sampson, watches Let's Rage Cougs postgame show.
Wow, nice.
She told me, I talked to her after the game yesterday. She caught the show after Wednesday's game, a road win. He said, I caught the show. Good job. I like it.
Nice.
Just saying, U.S. administration, that's depending on who you want to talk to, could be the number one person in the program or the number 2 person in the program, however you want to say. Just saying, that's pretty high praise. Just putting it out there. But we're going to wrap it up here on this edition of Folks Talking Sports, sponsored by 5 Star Properties. Once again, if you missed it earlier in the show, Andy Yanez is celebrating the New Year with his family. James Mueller is attending a wedding. So that's why those two are not joining me and Willy Gibson on this edition of Folks Talking Sports, sponsored by 5 Star Properties, a Dallas-based company, sponsored by a UH alum. I like saying that. Thank you to Jay for making that done, for making it possible, for sponsoring us throughout this college basketball season. Give them a call if you're facing foreclosure and need cash as is, selling your home as is. 972-532-SELL, 972-532-7355, or visit the website www.5starprops.com. Once again, www.5starprops.com, FIVESTARPROPS.com, or call them 972-532-7355. Brother Gibson, anything you want to say in closing on this edition of Folks Talking Sports, sponsored by 5 Star Properties?
And I had something too when I lost. Oh, this is interesting to me. Colorado football. I know I'm an Ohio State guy. I know I'm here to talk about that. But Colorado football. Had a discussion. I saw some information. Coach Prime has been there less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you look at rankings for 2023 recruiting classes, Colorado is the number 23rd ranked recruiting class in the nation. Coach Prime's been there less than a month.
Yeah.
I can only imagine in a full recruiting cycle what's going to happen. And as he says famously, I ain't hard to find, and we coming. And I believe him. What kid would not want to play, let alone a Hall of Fame defensive back? But his personality wouldn't. And I had somebody tell me, like, oh, he's just a personality. No, he's a head coach with NFL experience, Hall of Fame experience. He knows what it takes to get you to the next level, and not just get there, but sustain you and be extremely successful.
With a solid coaching staff, too.
And his coach, yes. Here at Kent State is probably about 20 miles from Akron, Ohio, probably about 2 hours, 15 minutes from Columbus, Ohio. The head coach at Kent State resigned and is now the offensive coordinator for Coach Prime at the University of Colorado. And he brought his offensive line coach with him, and he brought his 6'8", 330-pound right tackle with him. So head coaches are resigning to be coordinators under Coach Prime. I haven't heard too much of that. I haven't heard a lot of head coaches resigning to be coordinators under another coach.
Yep.
That's news to me.
What do you think, Will? You think Colorado will be in the Big 12 in a few years? Again? Again?
Yeah, possibly. I think so. I think now all channels are open.
And let me say this. It's a prediction I saw from Matt Brown at Extra Points. He does a good job on a publication. I forgot his colleague's name. But the two of them predicted that Gonzaga would join the Pac-12 rather than the Big 12. Obviously, from a location standpoint, travel, that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if the rumors about the deal with Amazon are true, and the Pac-12, whenever they announce their deal with their next media rights deal, and it's mostly with Amazon, so mostly streaming platform, and some games on ESPN, definitely less than now. Do you think a nationally relevant program like Gonzaga would agree to that? Because that'd be less games for them, less exposure in that conference. What do you think?
I agree. Ooh, I'm still here. I agree with that because they talk about the limited exposure they have now with ESPN games and terrestrial television rights. So to go strictly streaming, I don't see them. I don't see them going with that.
So yeah. So I'm kind of curious to see how it's all going to play out. Even if the numbers, the money is a little bit more. For the Zags, it'd be way more than what they're getting currently in the West Coast Conference.
Mm-hmm.
But less exposure over time, I think would be a detriment. Could be a detriment for the Zags, Arizona, especially men's basketball, women's basketball too, Colorado. The basketball schools in that conference. So I was kind of curious how that plays out. Mr. Big Ten guy, do you think Kevin Warren is going to leave for the Bears?
Yep, I do. I mean, he's an NFL guy. I mean, he was COO for the Vikings. That's actually before he became Big Ten commissioner. I met him at the Super Bowl a few years back, at the big game a few years. I met him at the big. Let's just say it like this. I met him early February 4 years ago in Minneapolis at an event, and super nice guy. And so that was prior to him. And then since he's become Big Ten commissioner, I had an opportunity to continue that relationship. He's a great guy, but he's an NFL guy. I mean, he take nothing away from him. Kudos to him for the $7 billion television rights deal that he was able to assist the Big Ten with obtaining. And he's done something. He's taken some heat due to cancellation of some games during the early onset of COVID. And I don't think it's public. His image has recovered fully from that, even with the television rights deal. So I think for him, I hate to see him leave the Big Ten, but I understand. He's an NFL guy. He's a lawyer. He's a COO. He's a C-suite guy
Mhm.
with the Big Ten, but I think him going back to the NFL is a power move for him, and I understand.
All right. Thank you, my man. Oh, and I'm going to say it, folks who got to do the right closing. I'm KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. You can catch me on Twitter at VHR Review, HoustonRoundballReview.com, Houston Roundball Review on Instagram and YouTube. Kudos to the fans watching us on the YouTube channel. I3, Tony M, Derek, D Skills, H Town, as well at Max Corner. AD, who's been approved once again to cover and attend the big game in February. Owner of the Houston Roundball Review umbrella. The Houston Roundball Review is a media group, I'm happy to say. So thank you very much for everyone for watching the show. Until next Sunday, Will, I think.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll do it again, probably with a full house next Sunday. Join us another edition of Folks Talking Sports, sponsored by 5 Star Properties. Until then, everybody enjoy. If you got the day off on Monday, enjoy it. Stay safe. And until next Sunday, peace.